Welcome friends to another edition of Universal Energies. My guest today is John Chafer, a spiritualist minister and a really good spirit communicator. So welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Let's just say that this program, as you know, is we give you the tools so you can sort things out for yourself. Hopefully to inquire more, research more, and then find your own field, whether it happened to be in spirit communication or as a healer or as a communicator to others to help people as they go along in life. So let's find out. First of all, John, how did you first start, my friend?
I had started seeing spirit when I was a young child, and I didn't think anything of it whatsoever. And then earlier on during life, I just carried on. I was a very quiet child, and I just moved on. And then I started seeing more things and didn't think anything of it. And I went and saw a medium, and it was actually Doris Stokes. And the lady next to me in the theatre had a child that was actually murdered. And I felt the energy of that child next to me. And it was very, very frightening experience. And then what happened after that, I still went away disbelieving that there were spirits around me. And it wasn't until I had a near-death experience, I was actually paralysed for 3 months in hospital, and I was in intensive care unit. And what happened was that one day when I was in ITU, I looked up and I actually saw a nun by the side of me. And the nun looked at me and said, "You're not ready." Because I thought I'd actually died. I'd actually thought that was my time. I was finished. And the next thing I knew, she turned around and she'd gone. And I thought, this is a bit weird, very, very odd, what I'd actually seen. And I was trying to communicate, and because I couldn't communicate, I couldn't speak or anything like that, all of a sudden, I thought, this is not right. But when I managed to did speak, the nurse actually said to me, "No nun came to visit you." And I was still confused by this. And it wasn't actually until I saw another medium that she said, "That was your healing guide come down to see you." And I thought, no, what a load of nonsense. And a couple of weeks later, when I came out of hospital and I was starting to walk around, I was actually went to a psychic evening. And a medium came up to me and said, "I've got a message for you from your dad." And my father had passed away. And he said, "Thank you for the rollie that you leave him by the bedside, where his ashes are. And just to let you know, the dog is okay." And I thought, that is very, very weird, because no one knows about the dog, and no one knows that I leave a rolling cigarette to my dad where he is. And I started to think about it, and I met a lovely lady called Betty Rose, and she actually asked me to go and sit with her. She said, "You're opening up to the spirit world." And I sat with her, and then I started seeing more and more things, and that's how really basically I actually got into the life of spiritualism. And it was a lovely experience, and it's just basically I'm there to communicate between the spirit and the earth world, giving messages for love to the people that need it most.
Lovely. That's what we all do, and that's really every day's a bonus when we work for them. Would you say that there's a difference between the psychic and the spiritual then?
Yes, there is. Psychics will tell you the future, and with mediumship, we're there to give the messages, the proof of what the loved ones are really like, their smells, how they were, their funny bits about them as well. But as I always say, that not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums can be psychics at the same time. I've had, excuse me, I've heard so many bad experiences of psychics that I would like to point out, where people have actually turned around to them and said that they're going to die, that they're the reincarnation of Princess Diana. There's so many bad experiences. And no psychic should actually tell you that bad things are going to happen to you, because because people think that mediums and psychics are exactly the same. We're not. We're on two different levels.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this gives the word mediumship a very, very bad name.
I quite agree. I mean, we've both seen over the years we've been communicating with spirit some appalling things that have been said. But I have to say I've seen some appalling things that have been said from the platform too. And so one doesn't justify the other, I do know. But at the end of the day then we have to say that we've seen appalling things from both the psychics and the mediums to balance the scales out a bit here. Okay. Would you class card readers as mediums or psychics?
They can actually be both. I know of people that can do the cards and yet they're very, very good mediums at the same time. And I can actually class card readers as psychics because with the cards they can actually tell you good things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I class them as both.
I do like to see card readers are more intuitive than books and going through books. But I suppose as a card reader that you have to start somewhere. And let's face it, the tarot is one of the oldest form of mediumships there is. But having said that, then, you are a Christian minister, John.
I am.
Would you say there's a conflict there between a Christian and a spiritual minister?
Yes, there is. It's a very, very big subject of mine. People don't believe, it's not just the Christian spiritualist bit, it's the other religions as well, if I can point this out, that don't believe in what we do.
Why do you think that is?
They think that we are the worst people possible. Other religions think that we are the worst people possible.
And why do you think they think we are the worst people possible?
That I can't explain, but I'm going to give you an example if that's okay.
No, yeah.
One of my friends asked me to put the ashes down of their mother that passed over recently, and he said the vicar would like to have a word with you. So I phoned up the vicar and I actually explained that I was there to put the ashes down, and when he asked what I actually was, he said, "What church do you belong to?" And I said, "Well, I'm a Christian spiritualist." And he said, "There is no way that you are entering my church." Which to me was a bit biased, because he actually turned around and said, I said, "Well, look, I believe in the Bible. I know that there's a Bible. I believe in praying. I believe in God." And he said, "That doesn't matter." He said, "To me, you're a very evil person. In fact, I can class you as a witch." And he said, "No way are you coming down to my church. I don't want you anywhere near my church." But it was a very odd experience because the lady it was her wishes that she wanted me to put her ashes down with her late husband. So I actually managed to do it and I don't like lying. And I actually had to class myself as a brother to do this. So we went up to the church, and the lady concerned and the gentleman, the vicar, they done their little bit, and we asked for 5 minutes on their own. And he must have had an inkling, because he went through one door and came out the back door to try and hear what I was saying as the ashes went actually down. And this is the conflict, but we do have a lot of people, a lot of religions that do believe. So there is this very, very big conflict.
I think that as we're going along, I mean, the Catholic Church, they're very close to the spiritualist beliefs anyway. They do. They've been doing healing in the churches for a long, long time. And as we know, healers are nothing but mediums anyway. But having said that, then I think the conflict arises because of the Bible, being there, it does say and quoted in the Bible, beware of those heretics and those who speak to the dead, and maybe that is the conflict there. And then you get the situation whereby church ministers will say then you're taking the Bible too literally when they say that, and the King James Bible and the translation and all that has made it more acceptable to the, but as you rightly said, who wrote the Bible? There's no actual, and if we need to go back any further, the Dead Scrolls and all that, that's where it's based on. It's a hearsay situation, which is a history book.
But as I explained to the vicar that I actually said to, I said, well, but the Bible's there, and there's so many psychic predictions in the future in the Bible, and there's so many certain things. And he said, I still don't believe. I said, have you not read the Bible? And he went, yes, but I still don't believe anything that you say.
Well, you just needed to say that who was Jesus talking to when he was on the cross then.
That's right. Yes, definitely.
But let's not go down that road there, because we don't want any conflict. How do you think that your ministry has helped you in your spiritual communication, if any at all?
It has, because it's helped other people learn more about spirit communication. It's learn about communication, and it's helping. I run a circle, and it's helping them know what spirit is all about. It's not just about the mediumship, it's not just about the psychic, it's learning, going back in years, how spirit actually started. And people want to know more about spiritualism than anything else. There are non-believers that people don't believe in what we actually do, and as I say to people, well, it's spirit that are actually coming through. They ask me questions like, well, how do you know that? How do you know that my father done this, or my mum done that, or what my mum looked like? How many people were around the bedside? I said, well, it's your mum or your father actually telling me these things that are coming through for you. Mm. And that is what spirit, that is how I help people. And it's just a case of, as I said to you before, it's just a case of learning and helping them with comfort, because that is what they want. People need that comfort of life.
I tend to think that anything with an ism on, like you say, we were talking earlier on, is to do with committees and things like that. So I work with spirit. Don't work for them, because then there's a dictation that is there. I work with them, and I'm sure you do too. Yeah. So how does your work commence? Do you work with a guide, or do you work with a higher energy, or how do you work?
I work with my guide, who's a Native American Indian, but I've also got other guides around me as well, and that is how I work. I hear, I see, I sense, and I smell. So I've got all my 5 senses working all the time with me. I never ever close down, which I tell my circle members to close down, but I'm continuously open. So I can be driving along and I can sense things, I can see things, I have people in my car with me.
But is that a good thing?
No, because when I work with spirit, afterwards I am just tired, I'm drained, because of it's the communication, it's like the electric body that you've got, the electric magnetic field that you've got up there. And no, it's not a good thing, but because of the way that I am, it's that person that I am. I never ever close down.
I understand that. You must find it very hard, you're walking down the high street and you pick up all kinds of things that are there.
The worst thing is when I go to a restaurant, or when I'm out somewhere and someone comes to speak to me, not just about spiritual, about anything, and I've got someone there in front of them, and I'd like to say something, but you can't, because you don't want to offend them, you don't know what their religion is, so you have to keep very, very quiet, and I have to keep one part separate of my life so I can have my own personal life, and then I have my spiritual life. So I've got 2 lives I actually lead together.
I'd just like to pull you back just a bit of what we said about the conflict about the two religions here and spiritualism. Let's just look at that as a broad sense here at the moment here. Would you say that there's an ego that is involved in anybody, whether it be any religion, getting up in front of somebody and telling them about this wonderful world, whether it be a spirit or whether it be to do with the Bible, and dictating to them that's what they should believe?
There is a very, very big ego. And I don't go around pronouncing what I do because I'm that private person. There is too many people out there with the ego, whatever religion, and I don't like it because people choose their own religion. They can be whatever they want to, and that is their choice in life. Everybody has a choice to make, and it's their choice.
So, having said that, agree or not, but would you think that having a centre, like you have a centre here, where anybody can come through the door and they're not actually dictating to spiritualists, is better than a spiritualist church?
Yes.
Or not?
Yeah. It's with our centre, anybody is welcome through the doors. Whatever religion, whatever country they come from, they are welcome.
But all churches will say that too.
But all churches might say that, but they don't like us.
No, I mean, I meant all spiritual churches will say that. And the majority of people that go to the spiritual churches are Christian spiritualists.
Yeah.
How would you like to see, when you say that people who come through the doors of your centre come through the doors, is it all spiritual mediums that are there, or do you have anybody else giving a different perspective on their religion?
No, we have all spiritualists come to our centre, and we've invited other people there, but some of them don't actually want to come to our centre.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, because of their belief.
I understand that, and you'll find the difference tonight that is there. But having said that, John has got his own centre, as he said, and he will give you all the information at the end of the programme. It'll go on the credits, and I'm sure that if you wanted to email John, he'd reply to you straight away, or virtually straight away, because he's a busy man, and you'll be able to see what is there here. Okay, so would you say that your ministry has helped your communication in what way? Your spirit communication in what way?
As I said before, it's helped me learn more about spirit.
Okay.
It's helped me communicate more.
Right.
And it's helped other people by learning as well.
I'm sure it has, definitely, because you have a way, if you are not boosting your head or anything like that, but you have a way of giving the information over in a way that's not dictatory, and it's not biased in any way at all, so that's really, really good here. Okay? We've mentioned how we can get in contact with you and your centre. Can you give us a little bit of information about your centre now, and just as we're wrapping things up, just how long it's been going and what it's for and everything else?
Right, okay. Our centre is actually in Rayleigh, Castle Road, Rayleigh.
This is Essex.
This is in Essex, yeah, sorry. We've actually raised over £2,500 for charity. It's been going for the last 5 years. We was in Wickford, but unfortunately we had to move. We hold it once a month on a Friday night. On a Monday night. But all our money actually goes. None of our money goes to local cause. It goes to the main charity.
Which is?
Right, we've raised £1,000 for a young girl who's had black diamond anemia. We raised £400 for a gentleman that wanted to go on a balloon ride before he actually passed over into the spirit world, which he actually did. And there's other bits and pieces that we've actually raised for as well. This year's cause is actually for another spiritualist church. So we've raised £600 for them. And next year we're raising it for a charity called Artability for people with disabilities, with learning disabilities, so they can actually go out on holiday as well. So that's where all our money actually goes.
I can see that's where your heart is, and that's where my heart is too.
It's all in aid of love and what we actually do.
There are a lot of vulnerable people in the world. Whether they're young, old or indifferent, it makes no matter to me. I'm very close as you are, being a nurse and a carer, and with me I was a support worker 1, manager, maker, with vulnerable people there, and I think sometimes there, but by the grace go I, because at the end of the day we don't know what's round the corner, and we could end up vulnerable ourselves.
No one knows what's round the corner.
And it's quite nice to have someone who's supporting us along the way, whether it be a few bob here and a few bob there or something, or a kind word or a smile or whatever it happens to be here. Okay, so as we're going to wrap this up, and I can't get away from you at the moment, John, as we're going to wrap this up here, okay, is there anything that you'd like to finish on that would maybe get our viewers and listeners thinking more about spirit communication or the spirit world as a whole?
Yeah, I actually would think of it this way, that when we're born on this world, we're born with nothing. We come into this world as an empty shell. We take our first breath. And then when we leave this world, we leave with nothing. We can't take our cars, our houses, anything that we've earned up to the spirit world with us. But what we've actually got when we pass over into the spirit world, the memories of our loved ones that have been left behind. And that is communication. That is what they actually want to remember. Always remember the good times that they actually had with us. But never fear of the spirit world. No spirit can actually hurt you or harm you, because we've heard that so many times. They're not there to harm you. They're just there to give you peace, love and quality of life, that they're always around you, very close, and just giving you healing all the time.
That's really nice. So just before we go, I can't get away from you, John, I don't know why. If I said to you that you'd obviously believe in God, and what purpose does he play in this world today?
I do believe in God. I believe there is a God, but I believe that God is the whole wide world. So I believe it as the universe.
Like an energy.
As an energy. So there is something up there, and until we get up to that spirit world, no one actually knows. We're all exactly the same. We all pray to the universe. We all pray to God. Other religions will pray to theirs, but to me, we're all exactly the same. And I feel that the universe is there helping us. And if we've got negative energy around us, that negative energy is not going to help us on the way. We've always got to look, and it is very, very hard for some people, but we've always got to look at the positive side of life.
Absolutely.
Every single day is a different day, and no one knows what is around the corner.
My friend said to me when I was in hospital, he said, you are allowed to be negative sometimes, because without the negative you wouldn't know what the positive is, and the other way round. So I say thank you so much, John,
Thank you
for being my guest today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much for inviting me.
And this is Spirit Rob Chafer. Until we see you again.